Hello again, Warren here.
And Landon.
With the Peach State Prime Transformers channel. And as you notice, I have a special guest here. We're actually showing off one of his figures from Cyberworld. Which figure is that?
Chop Shop.
Chop Shop from Cyberworld. So hope you'll join us as we take an in-depth look at the new bug on the block. And we'll do some comparisons to some of the other more recent and traditional, bug-themed or beetle-themed Transformers. So stick around. All right, we're going to start off with a 360 look of Chop Shop. And again, this is a what they call a Deluxe Cyberworld figure, so not in the sense of a Generations or Studio Series Deluxe, but in the sense that he does come with an extra accessory, and I'll show you that here in just a minute. But this figure, it is more geared toward children, meant for play more than, again, some of your Generations and Studio Series. But you can see the amount of detail on him isn't bad, and he's not a bad toy whatsoever. I mean, his pinchers, traditionally in a bug bot like this, you would expect those to fold down. They don't do so, but it doesn't look bad, but you can remove them. And, you can have them separate as a weapon or, or just leave them on in bot or bug mode, which we'll take a look at here in just a little bit. There is no articulation in the arms or wrists. However, you do have some, nice knee articulation there, which isn't bad. And he does stand rather easily, which is always nice. Head details are kind of nice, very reminiscent of how Chop Shop appears in the Cyberworld series, and this is a really fun character, a fan favorite. If you haven't watched Cyberworld, there's really no excuse not to, because it's free on YouTube. Yeah. And let's just say if you like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, kind of a crazy, fanatical character, you'll like Chop Shop. Showing off his extra accessory real quick, which again is what qualifies him as a deluxe toy. It is this, kind of looks like an axe or kind of a pincer grabber. You move this orange part up and down, and it makes the pincers open and close, so you can capture Autobots or leave a sting. And, he can hold this in either mode, so it's more like a sword in some modes. Or, again, you could have it more like an axe if you have this folded closed. So, a very neat gimmick, a very neat toy, and a lot of fun. Landon, would you like to add anything?
So, not really.
Okay. Well, we're going to do some comparisons here, and then we'll transform him into bug mode. Okay, so we actually have a ton of different comparisons we're going to do for Chop Shop. Just because there's so many great figures, and figures that make sense to compare him to. I'm going to start with what I believe is the smallest of the bunch here. And that is McDonald's Beast Wars Beetle. So this was a Happy Meal toy from the 90s. And, they both have the same alt mode, so I figured that would look kind of cool. Of course, both still having kind of bright colors, especially the green and yellow portions of Beetle here. The next one, we have 3 variations of the Insecticon Beetle, Stag Beetle that started it all, and that is Shrapnel. So this is actually one of the many G1 reissues that came out over the years. And yeah, that's right. They are about the same size. I mean, Chop Chop is taller thanks to his deluxe weapon there. But, you know, without that, they are roughly about the same size. Then we're going to look at the Legends / Core Class Shrapnel that came out, oh man, probably about 10 years ago now. About the same size as the original, you know, kind of scales nicely with Chop Chop there. And then we're going to look at Generations Shrapnel, which, you know, is a bit bigger than this Chop Chop, but nonetheless, you know, they are kind of, you know, they do scale well together. You know, you could say that, you know, Chop Chop here from Cyberworld is a newbie, and, you know, Shrapnel here is, you know, maybe his irritated sergeant training him. Up next, now this is where things might get a little confusing for those that aren't super familiar here. But Chop Chop was originally one of what you called the Deluxe Insecticons, and unfortunately I don't have any of the G1 figures here, but I do have two that I want to show off on purpose. So this one here, this is Barrage. You know, the Generations release of Barrage. And you can kind of see, you know, they are not the same type of beetle.
They look similar.
However, that's right. You could tell that the decos and even parts of the head, if you look at the eyes especially and the foreheads, Chop Chop here does take a lot of his design cues from Barrage. However, then we get into Generations Chop Chop, which, you know, this is the actual bod here that Chop Chop was named. This Chop Chop was named after, and he is in fact a stag beetle. So what's kind of interesting here, the team at Hasbro, when they designed our Cyberworld Chop Chop here, they actually kind of put Barrage and the original Chop Chop in a blender, and kind of got the crazy, again, off-the-wall Chop Chop that we have in that YouTube series, and of course this toy. So again, just kind of interesting. Again, I know the Hasbro design teams are different for what they call what I'll call their children's line versus their collector's line. But they knew what they were doing. They probably had limited space, so they wanted to homage kind of these, you know, somewhat more obscure Insecticons that never appeared on the original show. And they were able to do so, and they gave us what I consider to be a standout character in that show. How about you, Landon?
I think it's very good, and if you have any rocks, don't let him get to it.
That's right. Yeah, you'll have to watch the show to get that reference. But again, you know, it's free. They're shorts. Go watch it. Okay, so like I said, we're going to take a look at his bug mode. Now, I don't always transform figures on camera, just, you know, for time's sake, and there's a ton of other resources out there for that. However, this one's nice and simple, and so I thought I'd show off the transformation, because I actually think it's kind of cool, too. So, all you pretty much do is you raise up on these antennae, or the chest, goes up and over Chop Chop's head. You come back to the feet, they've raised up, you snap them together, and then you take your side panels and just simply push those into place. They snap, and you have Chop Chop in his bug mode, which, I gotta be honest, it's kind of impressive to me as well. Again, I know it's reminiscent of a stag beetle. What this really reminds me of, for any Star Trek fans out there, in Star Trek II Wrath of Khan, in the beginning, when Khan has those bugs, those slugs, I forget what they're called, that they crawl into, I believe it's Chekhov and I forget who's with him, but they crawl into their ears in the beginning when they're on the planet with Khan. This bug really kind of reminds me of that. Anyways, that's enough Star Trek talk. So you could take this weapon also, and you could attach it either way, on his back or really at any of these holes. We're going to take the one in the middle, and then you have a nice pincher that you could have on his back, you know, again, Stinger. You could also turn it around, and you have a blaster. And again, a pincher on the back here. And the pincer, you can do it lightly to where it just taps both ends, or you push it in harder, and it'll close all the way. So do want to do some comparisons here, naturally. So we're going to go back through that same list we just had, and I'm going to hold a lot of these simply because you know, they're smaller bots are here. Let's see if we can tilt the camera. Okay, there we go. Okay, so again, this is Beetle from the first Beast Wars Happy Meal toy assortment. You can see they look pretty good together. Of course, I do think Chop Chop here is a bit bigger. You know, there we go. We do a little side-by-side. All right, then we're going to jump back to, and I'm going to keep the weapons off of them in their bug modes here so we can see the bug modes a little bit easier. But there's the G1 Shrapnel mold. Again, roughly about the same size. Now, you know, one thing I will say is I think Chop Chop here does a little bit better of a job. Because, you know, no, the mandibles are not movable in this mode, but let's be honest, neither are shrapnels. But I think Chop Chop pulls that off a little bit better there. Looking at the core / legends class, and hopefully I have this thing transformed right. This thing gave me the worst fight, you know, for a core class, when I was trying to transform it here. I feel like I'm missing something with it. But again, they're roughly about the same size. Chop Chop being a hair longer there. And then we get into our Generations figures. Again, we're Shrapnel here. And, you know, he is a bit bigger than Chop Chop. You know, being a deluxe Generations figure. However, while this toy is trying to replicate what we had in G1 Shrapnel, as far as bug modes go, I have to be honest, while this is G1 accurate, I kind of like the bug mode on Chop Chop a little bit better. Like I said, it's that big, like, you know, Beetle, sci-fi-ish looking bug. So I think it might actually pull it off better. Yeah. And then we get to Barrage, which again, I still say that Barrage and Chop Chop here, we're put in a blender, or they're maybe, you know, the cousins or big brothers of Chop Chop here. Now, I will say this Chop Chop here, the one that's based, the Generations Chop Chop, the brown one, is based on the same mold as Shrapnel here. So they do share pretty much all the same engineering, minus a couple extra legs and details that we have on Chop Chop here. Which, again, I even think this Chop Chop, as much as I like the original Insecticons, I think this Chop Chop makes use of this mold better than Shrapnel. Even with the arms on the sides of both of them, I think it just looks more natural here. But anyways, that's not the two figures we're reviewing today. But I think this Chop Shop is a welcome addition to the, what we'll call the Deluxe Insecticon family. So again, very impressive. And again, one of the things I always say is a mark of a good Transformer is if it's intuitive to transform and looks good in both modes. This does. And also, you don't see his head if you flip the alternate mode upside down. So another good job.
I want to add something.
Okay, yes, Lana. What would you like to add?
So this Deluxe weapon on here. So some beetles have wings. So that kind of can be like wings too.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So you could use those as wings. I like that idea too. So again, a lot of versatility with this toy. All right, here's your family reunion group shot of all the bots we compared today to Chop Shop there in the middle, Cyberworld Chop Shop, that is. Again, I think he fits in very well with most of the more colorful Insecticons, especially Stag Beetles. You have, Shrapnel here. I got 3 versions. The original Insecticons are kind of their own thing. And then you have the Deluxe Insecticons and some of your Beast Wars characters that, kind of redefined the whole Bugbot aspect, especially Chop Shop here, who, again, I think is just an absolutely great figure for, again, being part of the Cyberworld assortment. And if you're looking for another, bug transformer, if you're a fan of whether it's beast transformers or just unique characters, I definitely recommend this guy.
You can get him at Target and Walmart usually.
Yep, he's pretty easy to get. Like Landon said, Target, Walmart, I'm sure online. Just a fun character. And if nothing else, again, you have that Golem side of him. Again, there's no reason not to watch the Cyberworld show. But, he's always yelling like, mine. So, definitely a lot of fun to be had there. And again, fits in rather well. If you're upset because you have a G1 Chop Shop and don't know what else to, how do you have 2 Chop Shops in your collection? Then name them something else. Name them Golem. Whatever you want to name him, or whatever other insane name you can come up with. All right, so that is Cyberworld Deluxe Chop Shop. Landon, you have anything else you'd like to add about the figure?
Not really.
No? Do you like him?
Yeah.
Is he fun to play with?
Yeah.
Do you like putting him on your shelf?
Yes.
Okay. Would you say he's one of your favorites from Cyberworld?
Yes, he is very funny.
He's very funny. So, I know I was kind of leading you with some of those questions, but I know you like the character a lot, and I do too, and again, I think that's a great toy. I don't have one personally for my collection, that is Landon's. However, after doing this review, might have to consider adding one to my collection as well, because it really is a great toy, and really like that bug mode on him, and bot mode. Again, it meets my mental checklist on what I look for in a Transformer.
I actually do have one thing.
Yep, go ahead.
He's only like 10 to 15 bucks.
Yep, 10 to 15 bucks wherever you get them, so that sure beats, about $30 for a deluxe nowadays. Not saying all the deluxes are bad, but if you just want that quick pickup, something, maybe you're low on funds, it's right before payday, it's something great to pick up. Anyways, thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it on YouTube. Comment, you know, what do you think of this figure? What do you think of Insecticons in general? Or Bugbots, whatever you like to call them. They are Insecticons, technically. And again, a lot of love was shown to the Deluxe Insecticons with this figure. But share your thoughts, and of course, subscribe for more content like this. Everything Transformers. If you're into other fun videos, whether it be travel or event videos or just home vlogs, restaurants, fun things like that, other nerdy stuff, and local attractions, check out my original Peach State Prime channel as well on YouTube, and you can follow me on Facebook. Anyways, again, thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a great day, and God bless.